I'm curious about the name. What does 32 pages mean?
Okay, my sister chose it. 32 pages was born out of a pitching competition actually. And then I roped her in because I thought this would be like our family project where we heal together.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Really just average number of pages in a children's picture book.
Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. Oh, that's quite meaningful. That's why I say, right? That's why I say you are too clever already.
Too serious, no.
Because if normally I ask people what's 32 pages, right, they will say something like, oh, it's an organization whereby we help children or we reach children. It's a school of emotion.
No, but when pitch to investors, you have to say that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think we just don't really talk about emotions a lot as a society. Yeah, even though it hinders a lot of people from pursuing opportunities.
So stop complaining and start doing something.
Start doing. And I just had a thought that like, why am I always giving when I don't even have a lot? And it really sucks. But you just cannot live with yourself not giving the opportunity to others when you know that it will benefit someone else also.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Youth Tea Party, the show where we spill the tea on all things youth. We are not a political party and have no interest in running for office. Today is the second of 3 episodes of our University Entrepreneurship series, where we take a look at those crazy people who try to balance school and startups. We heard from Keen previously. Today we're going to hear from another crazy person, Chloe. Hello, Chloe. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Chloe has just come from work and she stays all the way at the other end of the island. So we're very thankful for her to come all the way down at night. Before we start, I always like to ask you some stupid questions.
Okay.
But for you, right, I don't want to ask you stupid questions because I think you're very serious. So, if your worst enemy wrote a book about you, what would the title of your book be?
I really don't know. I really think it would be Can't Make Up Her Mind.
Okay.
Yeah, all over the place.
You can't make up your mind, man. You're all over the place, man.
Can't make up her mind all over the place.
Why?
Heartless, yeah.
Heartless?
I think heartless.
Okay, I'm more interested in heartless.
Heartless.
Why heartless?
Heartless.
You very heartless, man?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just when I set my mind on things, I tend to try to carry through.
Oh.
Yeah, like.
That's not heartless, what?
No. Even if it means severing ties. Okay, maybe not severing ties with people, but potentially rocking the boat.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, and I think that's quite uncomfortable for some people.
So we're here to talk about entrepreneurship, right? But I'm very interested to find out what university means to you. Because I heard from people, I don't know how true, that you were a brilliant student. I heard one, I don't know who.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but,
don't know who either.
But what did university mean to you?
I think it meant different things at different points. But the common thread throughout has always been an escape and also a change of identity.
Okay.
Because I was from a Chinese school, 6 years IP program school. So it's really hard for me to develop any identity that, that was out of the norm, that people were not familiar with.
Okay.
But I started exploring in university. Oh my God, suddenly open a can of worms.
Yeah. Oh no. That's why Youth Tea Party, that's why the moment you accidentally spill the tea, right, cannot go stun already.
I don't really think about my past a lot nowadays, I realize, because I've always been looking forward.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, do you think over the 4 years in university, you found something in you at all?
I think I did. So, university, I took arts because I wanted to be better at writing and speaking. And I felt like my thoughts in my head were just very jumbled up. So that was the purpose of taking an arts degree. Having the art skills, like the critical thinking skills that come from a more liberal arts education, really helps you see how you stand and what's your relation vis-a-vis everyone else. Yeah. So
I literally use those words in my teaching philosophy.
Really?
Yeah, literally. Articulate your relationship to the world.
Yeah.
It helps us to realize also sometimes, right, that if we can look beyond that university bubble, right?
Okay.
It's actually not so big a deal.
It isn't.
It really isn't. Yeah. So I think that's something that I learned also, talking to you over the years, right? It really isn't there are many bigger things to do out there.
Yeah.
And your university education itself doesn't really define you.
That's true.
Yeah. Let's talk about 32 pages. In 1 or 2 lines, what is 32 pages?
I think it's a school of emotion. Yeah, we go about life without really thinking about our inner worlds, even though it affects our behavior a lot.
Yeah, a school of emotion.
Now I'm second thinking. Is that good?
No, that's why I say, right? That's why I say you are too clever already.
Too serious, no. Too
Because
serious.
if normally I ask people what's 32 pages, right, they will say something like, oh, it's an organization whereby we help children or we read children. So it's a school of emotion. See me tighty.
No. By the page to investors, you have to say that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So
you all go with the concept first.
Do we? Are you not supposed to?
No, I don't know. No, there's no answer.
We were given advice too.
Oh, really? Also, you go with the concept. So, okay, it's a school of emotion. Oh, actually, that's quite nice.
My co-founder might not agree with me, but that's how I see it.
No, but now that I think about it again, right, the reason why I say that is because when I first heard school, right, I thought it was like a school of fish, that kind of school.
Oh.
But now I realize you meant school as in like actual learning institute, the school, correct?
Yeah.
A school of emotion. It's quite nice.
Okay.
Okay. So now tell me, in a lay person way, what does 32 pages do? You can't tell me.
Okay, no, we can. We help children build motivation and resilience by helping them understand emotions better.
Okay, but you all do that primarily through what?
Actually, very simple.
Yeah.
We train adults to be better adults.
Yes.
Okay. To be able to hold space for people, to listen to children.
But what modes do you do it through? Like, I know you all do reading stuff, right? So is it primarily only reading or do you all do other things?
So we do reading, but the reading is just a medium for them to be exposed to an emotion and what that emotion feels like.
Yeah.
So when you look at the stories we read, right, we talk about that emotion in very sensory detail.
Okay.
So like for anger, exploding volcano, how do you calm down, you touch the cool water, something like that.
Yeah.
To really immerse that child in the entire experience of feeling it on the body. But honestly, the bulk of that emotional management really comes in the volunteer-child interaction during the activities that we do regarding that big book reading that we've just
So you supplement a reading of a story with certain activities?
Yes,
Like, can you give us an example, please?
Can just be building an igloo together because we learn about the letter sound E. Yeah. So that is the medium where, the adult facilitator teach children how to learn, how to not give up, and maybe not be perfectionist. So that component is actually what's most important.
So how is 32 pages different from, say, like all those other like so-called enrichment agencies or classes out there in Singapore?
We are not paid.
Okay, so you that's the difference. You are doing it pro bono.
No, okay. That's the main difference.
Okay.
Second part is because we're not paid because we're community centric.
I see. So you are essentially giving access to people who would not be able to pay like hundreds of dollars for all these kind of things.
But okay, the biggest difference is that we focus on relationships. Because you realize that, the kind of associations the child has with learning matters a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Than the learning itself.
Absolutely.
We are very, very aware that we are not a school, as in like a mainstream school. Like we see the child every like 5 days a week, right? We know. So our purpose is very simple. It's really just to help them love learning. So we do see children pick up learning and start independently picking up learning by trying to do the concepts that we've taught in class, like how do you blend phonics. That they really do it on their own afterwards, and I'm always very surprised.
Yeah. And I think that's usually the reason why you do these things, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of reward that you get.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the name. Sure, you talk about reading, right? But what does 32 pages mean?
Okay, my sister chose it. So 32 pages was born out of a pitching competition actually, because I really wanted to do something with my life.
Yeah.
And then I roped her in because I thought this would be like our family project where we heal together.
Yeah.
So she couldn't really contribute then because she was young.
Yeah.
So this is the only thing she was tasked with.
Okay, but what does it mean?
Really just average number of pages in a children's picture book.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's quite meaningful.
Yeah.
It is. I like it. I think it's quite meaningful.
Yeah, it was very purposeful on her end.
So when this started, like the pitching competition, the ideation phase, you were in university. Like, how does someone in university think, wow, I want to start an initiative that will help children, and I want to do it by fundamentally changing the pedagogy of how they learn. How does someone do that?
Honestly, I've met a lot of people who are like that too
Really,
after doing the work. Yeah.
Okay.
So you do get attracted, you do attract people who are
Same kind,
like-minded. Yeah. So I do see people like that a lot. But how did I get started? So a lot of these kind of work is trauma-informed.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've been complaining about this thing for a very long time. I think we just don't really talk about emotions a lot as a society. Yeah, even though it hinders a lot of people from pursuing opportunities and participating fully, right? And it's bothered me for the longest time. And I just wanted to stop complaining about it.
So stop complaining and start doing something.
Start doing and finding out
but why children? Say, why not adults or why not youth, for example?
I think I always like working with children. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always liked working with children because the work that you do really impacts them a lot, because that airtime you have with them is actually quite a huge proportion of their entire life on earth. If you get what I mean?
Yeah. It's more influence on them.
Yeah. So the impact you have is greater.
I see.
And they're more moldable at their age.
Fair point.
Yeah.
So then you started this, right? And then obviously you still did very well in school.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my question is how?
I actually combined the both of them.
What does that mean?
I thought that my arts degree was not just an arts degree.
Oh, I know you. Every assignment you write about 22 pages, right?
Actually, to be honest, yes.
Really? Yeah.
Kind of. Actually, kind of.
No, just kidding,
No, but I'm serious.
Really? Yeah.
Really. So
you write from different angles,
Correct. Every single assignment, right? I always see how it relates to, because after all, I took an arts degree to make sense of my life.
That's true.
And 32 pages is kind of me making sense of my life.
In a way, you combine something that you are truly passionate about, something you believe in. So in that sense, you were already forming an identity, lah.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting because a lot of people, I feel I mean, I'm not an expert here, but a lot of people they do entrepreneurship stuff because they want to make money.
Okay.
Fair enough, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you start something based on an identity you have or an aspiration you have, I think the chance of success will be a lot higher, lah.
It used to be aspirations. I wanted to make sense of my life.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I realized that, the work that we do should be about the people we serve. And then I realized that was what made the work sustainable, when you really care about the problem and impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good reaction. So some people, they have trauma early on in their life, and then they turn out not great, and they react very negatively,
I get
right?
what I mean.
But I think for you try to address it or encounter it or embrace it even by doing something for other people. I'm very sure that there were so many times during this process, juggling things, right? That you just felt dark, you wanted to give up, you wanted to quit, everything. Can you tell me about, was there like a darkest moment, or every moment is quite dark? Tell me about the
Actually,
struggle.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. I never... okay, this is very difficult to talk about. I've never really wanted to drop it. And I thought that I would never drop it until... Okay, maybe not drop, but step down. I've always seen myself heralding this cause.
Sure.
Like forever. Only recently. And it's not because I'm tired, I feel. Like even when I'm tired, I could still go on. I think it's because I fulfilled the purpose that I sought out in the first place, which is to make sense of my life, that stage of my life. So now that it's gone, it's kind of a bit like, maybe someone else can better take my position.
I see. I see. So in a way, no, because a lot of people who do startups, right?
Yeah.
They do this also. They start a company up, they get it to a healthy state, and then they sell it off, so to speak.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not selling it off, but because this is not a commercial company. But I actually understand what you're saying. Because sometimes at a certain point you realize that it's now time to take the next step, and maybe you are not the best person to take the next step.
Yep.
So you can still help,
Yep.
but you don't want to be the one spearheading the thing anymore.
Yeah. I think part of it is also because I've learned what leadership means.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I figured it out.
Sure.
but I got a better sense now. I think running this for about 3 years, I don't get the years right because I can't really pinpoint the start, right? Running this for quite some time. I realized that it's important to think about succession planning and also making sure that cause stays alive even when you're not there.
Yeah.
So this kind of thoughts really entered my mind very recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So leadership, that's one of the things that I am interested in learning more about you or from you. You obviously have to deal with a lot of different people, right? Not just the children that you help, but also stakeholders, right? Potential investors, funders, this, that, all sorts of things, vendors, partners. How do you deal with all these things? Like, what kind of approach do you take?
To be very honest, right?
Yeah.
Children are like the least.
Exactly, right? They're the easiest to deal with, right? Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. So somehow this is not a paying kind of thing.
Yeah.
So how?
Okay, but I'll be very honest and say that I have fucked up a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I've said things I shouldn't have said. I've done things I should have done.
Yeah.
Because I was learning throughout. Yeah. I didn't have an approach. Do I have an approach now? I think I have a better informed approach. It's always communication.
Yeah.
Yeah. But could I have done things better back then? I really don't think so because I did what I thought was best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But it was always community-centric for us because what's the point of us continuing if you lose focus already? Might as well just shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good way to put it, right? And the lesson here for a lot of us, especially for those of us or youth out there who want to start their own things, right? Whether it's commercial or non-commercial, is that there is just no way you're going to get it right in the first go on.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's no way.
I actually don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you really build your knowledge by getting it wrong. Actually.
Yeah.
So this is a good lesson, right? So we balance school, we balance entrepreneurship at a very young age. It shows us that first and foremost, just because you're young doesn't mean you can't do great things. I think that's the first thing. Second thing, I think what we really learn, right, is the letting go. Learning when to let go. I think that's quite important. Like genuinely quite important.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about leadership, right? What is your philosophy like?
I think service. I know I say this a lot, but I really
servant
mean
leadership.
It. Really, yeah.
We're all the same, man. Jialat.
Yeah.
All sufferers.
Oh yeah. So this has been a thought of mine, right? Recently, because I think I should step down. Even though I care a lot, but I really think I should. And I just had a thought that why am I always giving when I don't even have a lot?
Wow, this is how I feel for a lot of things.
Yeah. And it really sucks. But you just cannot live with yourself not giving the opportunity to others when you know that it will benefit someone else also. It would leave someone. You know that being selfish, you can't live with yourself either. So I think that kills me a lot.
Yeah. Okay, but you see, that's the thing about servant leadership, right? So servant leadership is obviously not a bad thing, right? Because you lead by example, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
But just to play devil's advocate, surely servant leadership on its own is not enough. Right? You need different kinds of leadership also, right? So have you learned anything else about leadership, right? Like what other feathers do you put in your cap?
What other feathers I put in my cap?
Yeah.
Process leader. I'm not sure if it's a thing. Process leadership. I super hate processes.
Okay.
I had to force myself to create process.
Oh.
Even though it's only 5 people in my organization.
Understand. So you codify processes.
Yeah. It's important. Even though I feel like I'm more of a people person kind of leader.
Yeah.
But I learned along the way that you can't just people person your way through things.
Yeah.
You need a bit of tangible processes also. So I learned that. also from my friends who are engineers lah.
Oh. Process leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the correct term, but basically you create processes.
For an organization to last, right, people have to come and go.
Yeah. So it took me a while
to understand
realize,
that,
to realize that it's not about me and I shouldn't be creating a personality cult, which I feel a lot of founders actually do that. And I almost did. I was like, this is a story about my mom and me healing together with my mom. I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, you realize that I realized it's about us healing together as leaders, like my team and I.
Yeah, this is really good advice, man. Honestly, because when we create things, sometimes we create it in our image, right? it's normal lah to want to create things in our image, but actually you're right, man. If you can really create it for a purpose that is beyond your image, right? Then the thing will go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean the lesson that I got from talking to you today, right, really is you might seem really established from other people's point of view, but the fact of the matter is that you just did it lah. You just started and then you just kept chipping away lor. And you just build and build and build lor. It wasn't like an overnight success. You know, it wasn't like anything like that, right? It was really hard work and just really brick by brick lah, really, I think. Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of youth, I hope, can understand that sometimes people get success overnight. Actually, not really lah. You know, even like social media, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's
you see all these people, right? You think that they succeed overnight, but actually they didn't.
It crystallized overnight.
Yeah, it even, I wouldn't even say it crystallized overnight. It just gave that impression that it was overnight. But actually they post a lot of videos, they work very hard, everything. So yeah, I mean, thank you very much for sharing
No worries.
your journey, even though it was hard, I know.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really helpful for everyone lah. I want to end off this episode with one last question on mentorship.
Okay.
Right? I want you to tell me about a mentor that you have out there. It can be in the industry or wherever. A mentor that has made a huge impact on your career or your life or your thinking. And what kind of influence did this person have?
Really don't have.
Okay.
Not because there hasn't been any mentors, but because I don't have a singular person. I realized I had different phase. I had different mentors.
Yeah.
And also, I think that it's good to be critical about your mentors because not because they're human.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I seek out different mentors for different
absolutely
things.
Yeah, but just give us one example of one thing you learned from someone. Yeah,
that I should probably step down when I feel like one, I'm not learning. Two, someone can do it better. Yeah.
When to quit in a way.
When to let go lah.
Yeah, okay, sorry, when to let go.
Yeah, maybe I should not use the word quit.
Yeah, so I think people always think about entrepreneurship as building and growing and like going the distance. But actually, knowing when to let go is equally important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that could even help us to grow further lah, in the long-term sense of things.
We'll see. See.
So I wish you all the best. I wish 32 pages all the best.
Thank you.
I wish Youth Tea Party all the best. So please like, share and subscribe and comment in the comment section if you have any questions for Chloe. See you.